Well, hey, I hadn't lost all the audience yet, so that means y'all coming back in for some more here. Top 5 questions, most commonly asked questions about wells and pumps. Winterly Well Services on the video train here recently, trying to do some, I don't know, questions that we get asked a lot, and then comments from the comment section. You know, the viewer and the customer, as always, they always have the best questions. So been kind of enjoying this series here. We got a couple more videos to go after this one, so we'll, you know, as always, feel free to leave your comments if you have any other questions you want us to ask. We always appreciate your comments. Always appreciate you tuning in. And question 3 today is do we ever hit a dry well, or will my well ever run out of water? All right, so this is a loaded question here. There's really 2 parts that I would like to address with this question. So the number 1 part is going to be the man-made side, or the physical side, or the man-made side of, will my well ever run dry? Will I ever run out of water in my well? What I mean by the man-made side is this is highly dependent upon what pump is set in your well and how deep it's set. So if you have a well producing 10 gallons a minute and you have a 50 gallon a minute pump in your well, then the short answer to that is if that pump runs long enough, depending on how deep it is set, it will more than likely pump the water level in your well down to the pump intake, and you will lose water. You won't have any water. This will force you to sit in a waiting period where some sort of protection device keeps your pump from burning up and allows the water level in your well to recover long enough to where you have water again. All right, I realize I just gave an unrealistic example. More than likely so, you're not going to have a 50 gallon a minute pump installed in a 10 gallon a minute well. However, that situation does happen where you might have a 10 gallon a minute pump installed in a 1 gallon a minute well, or in the case of a bored well or some drilled wells in some area, half a gallon a minute well. And if there's a leak, or if a toilet is hung up, or somebody's trying to do a lot with it and they run the well for hours and hours, depending on all kind of other factors that I'm not going to get into, such as how deep the well is, how much storage is in the well, I'm going to quit rambling. Yes, you can overpump your well, resulting in a situation of my well is going dry. All right, so that's one aspect that I did want to address that's going to be highly dependent upon the pump that's in your well and how deep it's set. If the pump is sized right, it's either going to be sized to where it won't pump out and you won't lose water. What I mean by that is as the water level draws down close to the pump intake, the pump capacity will match the output of the well. Or if that doesn't happen, if it does draw down to the pump intake, there's a protection device or a low water shutdown device on it that shuts the pump off and allows the pump to keep from burning itself up until the water level in the well recovers. So that's the man-made side of it. All right, then the second part of the question is going to be what I call the natural causes part. What I mean by this is, do we ever drill wells where there's just not any water in the area? Yes, that has happened. Does it happen? Very rarely. When I consider a well dry, I consider a well to be dry that's not producing any kind of water. Zero. A half a gallon a minute well, yes, it is not ideal, but that's not a dry well. It's still producing water. So have I seen a well that's not even producing a half or a quarter of a gallon a minute? Yes. Have I seen a well that was producing water and then quit producing water? Yes, I have. Anything is possible. Does that happen? In rare cases, and in very rare cases, yes. 99% of the time when you drill a well and you hit a vein of water, it is an underground water source, essentially like a river that's flowing from one part to another. And generally that water is there to stay unless something crazy happens. Does it happen? Yes. I'm not going to sit here and try to give everybody a fairy tale and say that it doesn't happen and that everything's perfect, because this is Mother Nature that we're relying on and depending on. There are things that do happen. I've seen people that live close to rock quarries where they do a bunch of blasting, and I've seen it shut people's water sources off, and then I've seen water sources randomly go away on their own and then a month later come back on their own. So in short, things do happen. Have we ever drilled in areas where we cannot hit water? Yes. Have we ever seen a well that produced for 20 and 30 years and then all of a sudden goes dry? Yes. And we get asked this question a lot, but generally the answer to the question is no, they won't go dry. Whenever you hit a vein of water there, the vein of water is typically there. And I said that about 10 million times. So sorry for rambling on and on again. But this is one of the more common questions that we do get, hence the video and why it's in the series. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you picked up on that. I'm sure you did. I'm sure most of you already knew that. But we do get this question a lot, so just wanted to address it and keep on rolling. Be sure to smash the thumbs up button for us. We always appreciate that. And stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching.